Foster children. What's the most insane thing you ever experienced? When I was 10, I got placed with the Lanes. They seemed normal at first. Nice house, good food, even gave me my own bedroom with cartoon wallpaper. But something felt weird from day one. They never let me go outside alone, not even to the mailbox. If I wanted to play in the backyard, one of them had to watch me through the window. When I asked why, they said it was for my safety. I figured all foster parents were protective like that. At school, if I got any papers or notes, I had to hand them over the second I walked in the door. They said they needed to check everything for my own good. They locked up my backpack at night and went through it while I slept. I thought this was normal too. The weirdest thing was the computer. They had one in the living room, but I wasn't allowed to touch it, ever. They said the internet was dangerous for kids. When other kids at school talked about games or videos they saw online, I just nodded along and pretended I knew what they meant. One night, I lost a tooth. I put it under my pillow like always, expecting to wake up to $1 or some quarters. Instead, I found a tiny folded note written in handwriting I'd never seen before. It said, "You're not who they think you are. Check behind the mirror." I was scared out of my mind. At school the next day, I asked my teacher, Mrs. Kim, if the tooth fairy ever left notes instead of money. She laughed and said no, the tooth fairy only brings coins. That made me even more confused. That night, while the Lanes were downstairs watching their usual cop shows, I carefully pulled the mirror off my bedroom wall. My hands were shaking the whole time. Behind it was a small hole cut into the wall, and inside was a plastic bag stuffed with papers. I pulled everything out: birth certificates, newspaper clippings, photos of kids who looked like me but weren't me. One photo showed a little girl with my exact eyes but different hair. Another showed a teenager who could have been my sister. Then I found the missing child flyer. It had a picture of a 6-year-old girl named Sophie Blanchard, missing for 4 years. The girl in the photo looked exactly like me, just younger. My stomach dropped to the floor. There were handwritten notes too. They rename all the kids. Tell someone the truth. Call Aunt Jane, she's still looking. I spent the next week acting totally normal, eating dinner and doing homework like nothing happened. But inside, I was freaking out. During lunch at school, I snuck into the classroom and used the phone to call the number written on one of the papers. A woman answered, and when I said the name Sophie Blanchard, she started crying so hard I could barely understand her. She kept asking where I was, if I was safe, if I remembered her. I hung up because I got scared. That weekend, 2 people from Child Services showed up at our door without warning. The Lanes tried to act calm, saying it must be some kind of mistake, but the officers found more hidden files in the attic, files about other missing kids. Turns out my real name was Sophie. I'd been taken from a park when I was 6. The Lanes had changed my name, enrolled me in a new school district, and told me my family had abandoned me. But my Aunt Jane had been searching for me this whole time, putting up flyers and calling police stations in different states. The Lanes got arrested for kidnapping and trafficking kids. I finally got to go home to my real family. My Aunt Jane cried for like 3 hours straight when she saw me. She said I looked exactly like my mom did when she was little.